بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول ولا تبطلوا أعمالكم وقال تعالى يوم تجد كل نفس ما عملت من خير محضرا وما عملت من سوء تود لو أن بينها وبينه أمدا بعيدا ويحذركم الله نفسه الله رؤوف بالعباد أما بعد. Honorable brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are, alhamdulillah, now 9 days into the month of Shawwal, and we have said wada' and we have said a farewell to the month of Ramadan. At this time, it is prudent for us to share a few reminders, most of which we know, but this will inshallah hopefully give us some direction as we exit the month of Ramadan and we try to re-navigate ourselves and try to readjust back into the life with shaitan and nafs at maximum speed and readjust ourselves after coming out of a season of this beautiful ibadah and reward that Allah Ta'ala had given us in the month of Ramadan. Before that, so Allah Ta'ala says in the ayat of Quran which we said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول ولا تبطلوا أعمالكم. O people of Iman, be obedient to Allah Ta'ala and His Messenger. أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول ولا تبطلوا أعمالكم. And do not destroy, do not cause your a'mal to become void and washed and wiped away. ولا تبطلوا أعمالكم. Do not discard your good deeds. How is this here? By not following up a good with another good. ولا تبطلوا how many other ways as well. So what is our relationship with the month of Ramadan? Our relationship with the month of Ramadan, we were talking with some of the brothers in Atikaf and after as well. Our relationship with the month of Ramadan is not just in the month of Ramadan. It actually started way before that. This beautiful relationship and this ta'alluq, or we can call it, I like to call it the marriage with the month of Ramadan, because over the period of 4 weeks, we've developed such a beautiful bond and love, passionate love with this month of Ramadan, i.e. the a'mal and ibadah in the month of Ramadan, that we have that passionate and ecstatic relationship with the month of Ramadan. Taraweeh and Qiyam and Salah and Tilawat and Dua, etc. It's all part of the a'mal of the month of Ramadan and fasting. So we developed this beautiful, passionate relationship with the month of Ramadan, but where does it start? It started way before that, and that is in the month of Rajab. When the Prophet ﷺ has taught us, Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan. Allah Ta'ala bless us in the time before Ramadan, there is Rajab, then Sha'ban, and then Ramadan. Allow us to reach the month of Ramadan. So Rajab in its real sense is to trim meaning to get rid of all the evil deeds and sins before we actually enter into the month of Ramadan. Why is this? Subhanallah, if you sometimes, there's many examples we can give. I'm just trying to think on the top of my head. When you go to the ice cream shop with your child and you say choose something, and they they flustered up and they confused, they don't know what to choose. Because there's so many varieties of flavors there and so many different things. And you choose for me, and okay, they have this taste and that taste, and 10 people are waiting in the line behind you. Subhanallah, you getting irritated. The month of Ramadan is like Allah is just dishing out this flavor of salah, flavor of taraweeh, flavor of qiyam, flavor of tilawah, flavor of fasting, flavor of dua, flavor of iftar. There's multiple things and rewards that are on the plate for us. We don't know which one to take. We cannot maximize from that we have in front of us. They say to you, subhanallah, nowadays on the online you see randomly these media people, they come, they say, we give you 30 seconds, choose whatever you can in the shop. And it's heaps like this, they're doing it for the views and so they can get more money and pay it from the views. That's their intention, but they will do this and dish out. So now the people are running all over the place. They don't know what to take, and it's because they've got 30 seconds or 10 seconds. But before time, if the child is prepared, and it's tonight we're going to go for the ice cream, And so they're already for the rest of the day, they're like mentally preparing themselves. Okay, I know more or less there's these flavors, and they start like choosing their taste buds and their palates in their mouths to know that, okay, I'll be choosing this flavor, maybe taste one or two and then choose this one. Yeah. Or if you know what you want from that, when they come to you and they say, like, you got 10 seconds, choose whatever you want in your trolley and move. So if you have an idea of exactly what you want, you know you're going to go directly. If this ever happens to you, you'll run quickly and take those expensive items like that. Month of Ramadan, I'm just using an example that we can relate to. It's much bigger than that. Month of Ramadan is that month in which Allah Ta'ala is dishing out rewards. For free, take it. Allah's forgiveness is there, Allah's rahmah is there, Allah's emancipation is there, Allah's reward is there, iftar is there, suhoor is there, taraweeh is there. The time between the taraweeh, there's too many to make mention of. And we are unable to take all of it in. Why? Because we were not adequately prepared before. So that's where our relationship began. Then we came into the month of Sha'ban, we had a bit of a down moment, and then we entered Ramadan, and we built up this beautiful ta'alluq with the month of Ramadan, and then it culminated with the day of Eid, the Salah of Eid, the day of Ja'iza, and the night of Ja'iza, prize giving, which Allah Ta'ala is rewarding the servant of His, male and female, with the reward from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala directly, the reward of forgiveness and the reward of emancipation from the fire of Jahannam, and multiple rewards, and the reward of exiting with the sins free, the book of deeds free of all sins. Because of that greatness, that is why on the flip side of it, in contrast to that, the misfortunate one is the one who missed out, who was present in Ramadan, but yet failed and missed out, failed miserably in securing those beautiful rewards. It's like, you told a person, you got 10 seconds, go and choose what you want, and suddenly like they froze. And then 10 seconds expired and say, I'm so sorry now, time is up. You don't know. Or it's like, you know what, you got angry with the child, you're taking too much of time to choose your flavors. Just leave it, just go. And then you just bought the child something to make them happy, and then suddenly they bought the flavor, and it's like, not nice, I don't like this flavor, and now you take it, this one, give it to that one. So that's what happens to many of us in the month of Ramadan. Now we come out of the month of Ramadan, what is our halat? What is our condition? Somebody asked Shibli, rahmatullah alayh, he says that, which is better, Rajab or Sha'ban? He said, لا تكن رجبيا أو شعبانيا كن ربانيا. He says, don't be a Rajabi or Sha'bani or Ramadani. Be a Rabbani. Person who is for Allah Ta'ala always. Obviously, you will increase slightly in the month of Ramadan and the seasons of ibadah, but you will never, there'll always be a very high benchmark for your ibadah and for your ta'alluq with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need to ask ourselves at this particular time in our timeline of ibadah, in the year, Islamic year, what is my condition after the month of Ramadan, wherein it was a season of free ibadah and free worship, free rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Has there been any change in the condition of my salah? Has there been any change in my adherence and upholding of my salah or not? Has there been any spiritual change in my life? Has there been any visible change to my book of good a'mal or not? This is where we are standing right now. Yes, the pious, subhanallah, they would go into a sense of ham and gham. They would go into a sense of spiritual depression and stress after Ramadan, because of now it's this sudden stop, for many of us. And you feel that depression setting in. You give your time to recoup, and then you pick yourself up once again. And this is where we are now, the time when we need to start picking up ourselves. So yes, we had the collective ibadah of fasting, but the ibadah of fasting never ended. The fard has come to an end with the sighting of Shawwal, the Hilal, but the fast of Nafil continues. That is why Allah says, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to us, take it on after Ramadan and do only 6. If you can't do anything else, then just do at least the 6. Just do at least the 6, so that we are able to then accumulate rewards for the whole year by doing the 6. Subhanallah. We talked of it last week as well. Then the collective ibadah of Taraweeh in Jama'ah has come to that end. But the ibadah of Tahajjud and Nafil Salah has not come to an end. It is year round. It goes on. Subhanallah. وَالَّذِينَ Allah Ta'ala praises those who are worshipping Allah Ta'ala at the time of suhoor. at the time of tahajjud, during the night. So yes, after Isha Salah, maybe do an additional 2 rakats or do an additional 4 rakats, just so that we can maintain and keep up some of the good deeds that we pass in the month of Ramadan. Subhanallah, it was said to Bishr al-Hafi, it says that many people, إِنَّ قَوْمٍ يَتَعَبَّدُونَ وَيَجْتَهِدُونَ فِي رَمَضَانِ, people are worshipping Allah and they are exerting much in Ramadan. May Allah save us, and we should never be of such. And then after Ramadan, we just see this complete lack, complete devoid of ibadah, etc. Then he said, بِئْسَ الْقَوْمُ لَا يَعْرِفُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا فِي رَمَضَانِ. How evil is the people in a nation that only know Allah Ta'ala in the month of Ramadan. Subhanallah. We have become so bad and so evil, even to our Creator and Maker, that only in Ramadan we know Allah Ta'ala in the 11 months of the year. Assalamu alaikum. Pack the Quran away, pack the Salah away, pack the Ibadah away, pack the Dua away, and pack everything away, and just the month of Ramadan comes and we suddenly, it's like a switch of the button. Who does that? The Yahud and Nasara do that. More specifically the Nasara. They do that. They have this set Sunday Ibadah, and the rest of the day, zina, sharab, and alcohol, everything. Once a week come, oh Father, forgive me. It doesn't work like that. We don't do that. A believer is one who's continuous, and then he goes up, and he comes back to his baseline. It's continuous. And it's just the seasons of ibadah rise slightly, as much as possible to Allah Ta'ala, then you come back to your baseline again. Subhanallah. That's the believer. We don't go right down to the bottom. The kuffar do that. They go down to the bottom, and they just worship their Lord inside of their synagogues, inside of the churches. Believer carries his or her iman with him wherever he goes, wherever she goes. Your walking is ibadah, your talking is ibadah, what you eat is ibadah, how you sleep is ibadah, how you interact is ibadah, how you dealing is ibadah. Every single moment of your life, every single activity of your life is some form of ibadah. And this is what should carry on, keep us going out of the month of Ramadan, which we learned in the month of Ramadan. Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu anha, under the tafsir of this ayah, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. Those who do what they do, and their hearts are shaking and their hearts are scared and afraid, أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ, that they will return to Allah Ta'ala. So then she asked Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, does this refer to the one يَسْرِقُ وَيَزْنِي, the one who's stealing and committing zina and doing all of these evil deeds and sins? Then Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to her so beautifully, لَا يَبْنَةَ الصِّدِّيقِ, O daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, no, this does not refer to those people. This ayat refers to those يَصَلُّونَ وَيَتَصَدَّقُونَ, those who are performing their salah and who are fasting in the month of Ramadan, and they are doing the zakah and the sadaqat and the charities and all of their good deeds, and yet, despite all of that, they are stressed out that they have to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are stressed out that we have to return to Allah and this has to be accepted from us. وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. Continue to worship Allah until the certainty comes, which is death. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمْ يَجْعَلْ لِعَمَلِ الْمُؤْمِنِ أَجَلًا دُونَ الْمَوْتِ. Allah Ta'ala, Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahimahullah said, Allah did not make a timeline for a person's ibadah and worship except death. So we continue until death. And we know the qaida is that, and the rule is that the i'tibar is of the ending. So you might have a beautiful Ramadan, we might have heaps of ibadah and heaps of amal and heaps of rewards that we have accumulated in Ramadan, but no sooner Ramadan has come, we have, put it aside and we have stopped it, and then death came to us in that condition, that will be a bad outcome for us. And the rest remains in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if we continued after that, and then death came to us, then hopefully there will be goodness for us in the year after as well, from Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah did not make a timeline which ends for a believer's ibadah except death. You go on till we die and we close our eyes. And then Allah Ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. So this is why the pious was stressed regarding their worship. It's because Allah Ta'ala said that He only accepts from those who are pious. So we might be doing everything, and this is where our taqwa comes in. This is where our ikhlas and our sincerity comes in. That even the Sahaba who made the hijrah, if the hijrah was not sincere, then they would not maximize on the reward. And Allah, the deen is not shy, whether you Sahabi or non-Sahabi. Those, even if you go out in jihad fi sabilillah, if your niyyah is not khalis lillah, Allah is not going to say, there is no, being emotional and, sensationalize it and oh, he's going to give his life and he has to be rewarded. Allah doesn't work like that. If you're doing it for the sake of Allah, you must do it for the sake of Allah. There's no other intention included. So even if you're going jihad fi sabilillah and you're not doing it for the sake of Allah, then you can be, rest assured there's no reward for that person as well. So it's not like, there's no sensationalizations like, he was doing so much of qiyam and so much of ibadah, and he was doing so much of zakah and sadaqat and those kind of things, and he has to be rewarded. No, we don't have any authority on Allah Ta'ala. Allah is looking for that condition of your heart. Allah is looking for that ikhlas. So you may do the world, but if you don't do it with the necessary correct intentions and ikhlas, then then it's the hand of Allah Ta'ala and prerogative of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala whether He accepts it or not. يوم تجد كل نفس ما عملت من خير محضرا وما عملت من سوء. When every nafs, every soul is going to be standing in front of Allah Ta'ala, تجد كل نفس ما عملت, whatever it has done. You done goodness, mashallah, tabarakallah. Done evil, you have to pay the retribution for that. وما عملت من سوء محضرة. It is in front of you. It is in front of the khalaiq, in front of mankind to see. تود لو أن بينها وبينه أمدا بعيدا. And this insan is going to desire and wish that there was this huge gap between him and his bad deeds. Because it's so much, it's like, I don't want anyone to know of my, my sins and my bad deeds. So may Allah Ta'ala accept from us all, and may Allah Ta'ala, we remind ourselves always at this time, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may achieve the taqwa as a result of your fasting, as a result of taraweeh, as a result of your dua, and as a result of, so dua hasn't come to an end, salah hasn't come to an end, fasting hasn't come to an end, sadaqat hasn't come to an end. All of these nawafil continue, they continue onwards, even after the month of Ramadan, all the way until the next month, and like this year, until we close our eyes and meet our Rabb, Allah Azza wa Jal. May Allah accept from us all, inshallah. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. We know that the condition of the ummah and the recent happenings in the last few days has created a great degree of uncertainty as well for our ummah overseas, locally, and just across the Tasman in Australia as well. So we ask the ummah, ask our brothers and sisters to take extra precaution and be cautious and careful of your whereabouts and wherever you are, not to create fear or to be afraid, because we are believers and we are always ready to die. If we are going to die in the masjid, we are going to die in our homes, we are going to die anywhere else, we have to die. We have to meet Allah Ta'ala. But it is necessary for us to take some level of precaution and be careful and cautious of our whereabouts in our surroundings as well. And make dua. These are stressful times. These are volatile times. Make dua to Allah Ta'ala that He brings stability and He brings peace. And that calmness should reign throughout the ummah. We know that destabilization that the Zionist regime and the Dajjal regime is trying to create, by inciting violence upon the entire dunya by their actions. So we invoke Allah Ta'ala upon them, and we send Allah Ta'ala upon them continuously. So this is all as a result of the Zionist entity. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala save us and keep us safe in our environments, in our homes, in our societies, and globally as well. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.